You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Well, Black and White sports fans, we must talk about the MLB All-Star Weekend. Because if you guys remember, back in 2021, the All-Star Game was supposed to be in Atlanta, Georgia. But MLB bent the knee to Stacey Abrams and other line leftists that Georgia's voting laws, which is basically saying you got to have an ID to vote, was Jim Crow on steroids. It's absolutely stunning, guys, that MLB actually took the All-Star Game out of Atlanta and moved it to Colorado. Now, in Atlanta, man, Atlanta is like has a whole bunch of black people in Atlanta. They moved it to pretty much the whitest city in the country, in Denver, Colorado. Absolutely amazing, guys. However, the All-Star Game is now back in Atlanta. And folks, we have a clip we must go over because the politics are in votes into the All-Star Game, courtesy of some radical leftist reporter that was apparently wearing, get this, 2025, guys, wearing a COVID mask. Yes. Actually asked Dave Roberts and Pat McAfee about the quote-unquote oppressive racist voting laws that exist in Georgia right now. And boy, I got to tell you, for one thing, I don't think they clearly understood the question because the reporter was apparently wearing a COVID mask. Kind of hard to. Why is this person wearing a mask 2025? Why? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But guess what, guys? Dave Roberts, man, wanted no part of that question at all. No part. So we must go ahead and dive into this, guys. Here we go. Right over here on Outkick. Mask-wearing liberal reporter asked MLB All-Star manager Dave Roberts about Georgia voting laws. And we actually have the clip here courtesy of Awful Announcing. And boy, that title on this post right here is insane. Look here, it says, Pat McAfee, Dave Roberts went full company man when faced with a tough question about why the MLB All-Star Game was back in Atlanta despite no change to Georgia's disenfranchising voting laws. Votes. The voting law, not disenfranchising whatsoever. It's not. And we do have the proof. We talked about this before, but that was actually a while ago. Because racist leftist man was saying that black people don't have IDs to vote. And it completely backfired, guys. Look at this here. Poll shows 0% of black voters had poor voting experience in November despite Biden's claim of Jim Crow 2.0. Yeah, this is going back to the 2022 midterms when the voting laws were already in place and Brian Kemp wiped the floor with Stacey Abrams yet again. However, the fake pastor, Raphael Warnock, won his election. So how does this actually work, guys? How does Brian Kemp defeat the black woman in Stacey Abrams, but a radical leftist like Raphael Warnock beats Herschel Walker? So a Democrat won and a Republican won. But Awful Announcing here is saying that it's disenfranchising voters. 0% of black voters said they had a poor experience. Yeah. This is utterly ridiculous, man. But anyway, this reporter, man, wearing a face mask decided to ask NL All-Star Game manager Dave Roberts about the league's decision to hold the 2025 edition in Atlanta, even though the law is still on the books. Yeah. To hammer home the point, the reporter resurfaced a comment made in 2021 by Dave Roberts. This is what he said at the time. Quote, "I think it's just being relentless with our voices. This is not just something that's an isolated moment in time that we're talking about. It's something that needs to be talked about on an ongoing basis and be relentless with it." And that quote actually came from a Stop Asian Hate event. And Roberts was talking about attacks on Asian Americans. Of course, Dave Roberts is actually half Japanese. Okay. Look here. It says, also in 2021, Roberts said he would consider declining to manage the National League in the All-Star Game if the event remained in Atlanta, and added, quote, "When you're trying to restrict African American votes, American citizens, that's alarming to hear." Once the MLB decided to move the All-Star Game out of Atlanta, Roberts said he supported the decision. But folks, it all backfired because the proof is no one was disenfranchised. So let's get to this clip here, guys, because there is nothing that Dave Roberts and Pat McAfee can actually say about the voting laws because we got the proof. We got the proof. No one was disenfranchised. Let's play this.
Down here.
The All-Star Game was moved out of Atlanta in 21 because of a law that former President Biden described as Jim Crow in the 21st century, and it was framed as a protest. Dave, in the 2021 MLB Network special on Stop Asian Hate, you said, and I quote, "I think it's just being relentless with our voices. This is not something that's just an isolated moment in time that we're talking about. It's something that needs to be talked about on an ongoing basis and be relentless with it." What happened to being relentless with it, and why are we still in Atlanta when this is on books?
I know it was hard to understand. We were actually talking about that. Can you re-say what you said there?
There is a law on the books here in Atlanta that is a voter suppression law that Joe Biden has called Jim Crow of the 21st century. Dave, in 2021, in the MLB Network special, you said it's about being relentless with our voices and speaking up, and this is not an isolated moment, and it needs to be something talked about on an ongoing basis and being relentless with it. What happened to being relentless?
Okay. I was actually trying to look for the reporter. I think the reporter is like down here somewhere.
With our voices, and why are we in Atlanta when this law is still on the books? And it is a dangerous situation to be a journalist in Atlanta because Atlanta has detained the most journalists by ICE.
I believe the question was.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I see the person now.
Situation to be a journalist in Atlanta because Atlanta has detained the most journalists.
Ah, right here. This person right here wearing a black COVID mask, folks. A black COVID mask.
By ICE.
I believe the question was a political question about laws that are on the books and everything like that. And the All-Star Game was taken out, now it's brought back. Interesting. I don't know if any of us are the experts or the ones that should be giving answers on that, but respect and appreciate the way you feel about it. And I would assume that there was a reason or some conversation that was had by the MLB and the state that all parties thought that this would be a wonderful host city for the All-Star Game. And I think everybody is all very excited to be back in the beautiful city of Atlanta. I think. I don't want to speak out of pocket for anybody, but I do believe with everything else you're talking about, I don't know if Dave is a lobbyist or Paul is a lobbyist or Tarek or Coach Boone. I think they would be great at it if they decided to be as such. But I think she was talking to you. I don't know if you, I think so. I believe it was, once again, it was hard to hear. But do you have any thoughts on Atlanta hosting the All-Star Game whenever there was obviously some conversations in the past, I believe, right?
I think Pat answered it perfect. And honestly, I appreciate the question. I appreciate your thoughts. I do feel that I'm excited to be here. I think that it's a great city. I think baseball fans are excited to be here and celebrate these great athletes. I'm not a politician. I do feel that everyone has their right to voice thoughts, but right now I really choose to just focus on the players in the game and be excited to be here. And for me, to be able to manage these guys and to manage against these guys, I'm honored. So I don't want to get into the politics. So, but thank you.
And with that being said, great for sports to showcase Atlanta, and we're lucky.
Okay, so you guys saw that right there. And one thing you guys probably did not hear, she said that journalists were being arrested by ICE in Atlanta and not the rest of the country. Now, if you guys are subscribed to the Black and White Network channel, actually did a video on this one journalist that was arrested. And guess what? This journalist down here was an illegal alien. He was an illegal alien. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Is this the journalist right here in the COVID mask? Yeah. We'll get to that illegal here. But it says it turns out the reporter in question is someone named Jen Ramos Eisen, who apparently writes for some website called Defector, which posted an article last week titled "How Trans Prisoners Are Dealing with the Trump Administration's Attack." Wow. So this is her right here. And folks, this picture is from February of this year, and she's wearing a black COVID mask. Yeah. She's wearing a black COVID mask, folks. Wow. This is that's the woke journalist right there. But anyway, down here, that journalist that was actually arrested was an illegal from El Salvador. Yeah. His name is Mario Guevara. A Salvadorian national is in ICE custody because he is in our country illegally. Guevara was arrested by DeKalb County, Georgia police for willful obstruction after he refused to comply with local police orders to move out of the middle of the street. Yeah, that was during, I believe, the No Kings or ICE protests. I did a video on it, guys. This man's a legal alien. Boy, I got to tell you, man, this is something right here. This is something, man, right here. Now, I don't know what she was actually doing at the MLB All-Star game. It doesn't seem like she actually covers sports. She covers a bunch of woke stuff. And she actually asked that question. She probably knows nothing about baseball, guys. Probably nothing about baseball. But there you have it, man. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.